Get ready to take a look behind the scenes and enter the impossible for the Between Two Minds podcast with our hosts, Judge Mentalist and Bernardo Rodriguez. Can they really tell you what you're thinking?
Good afternoon, everybody. It's Judge Mentalist back at you one more time probably more than one more time, but here near the end of the 2024 Michigan Hypnosis Conference. I am excited to be here with not only one of the presenters, but my teacher and mentor in everything that you see me out there doing these days.
Sorry, people, it's my fault.
It is his fault, Kevin Lepine, and it truly is your fault because since you've taught me this, I haven't taken other training from other people because I haven't needed it, but I've learned about what people teach and what people don't teach. And I know that where I am today, the ability for me to do what I've done, the amount of time I've done it, hinges very, very heavily on your training and your training style.
You know, it's the old line. You can drag a horse to water, you can't make him drink. Or somebody wants to put it, you can raise a horticulture, but you can't make her think. All I can do is teach you and give you the tools. You made the choice to take those tools and do something with it. That's the one thing. I don't care how great of a trainer somebody is. If you're not willing to put in the work, nothing's ever going to be worth it. And for everybody just starting in this world, you're never actually prepared to do your first show. But if you don't do the first show, you're never going to do your 100th show. You got to take the tools you learn. And that's why in the class, my big thing, we talked about this even before you joined, my number one thing was, you're not going to learn by theory. I've got to put you on stage. You've got to learn by doing.
One of the things that I realized is that, before learning, I had a long-standing interest, curiosity, or whatnot. And when I moved 2 years ago, I found some old hypnosis books that I had purchased decades ago. And look, you feel free to chime in and call me out on whether you have ever, if you are one of those people who has learned to successfully do even just an average level stage hypnosis show successfully just from a book.
There are, but I would doubt in the last 20 years anybody has the ability to say that, because nowadays there are so many more resources. The problem is there are so many more resources. That doesn't mean they're all good resources, especially on YouTube. There's a lot of things that I think are more discouraging than helpful. I hate when trainers put out a 90-second clip of being out on the streets and you see like these people instantly going down. I hate those because they're not realistic. It doesn't show the 2 or 3 minutes before that.
Right.
It doesn't show the people who walked by and ignored them. It doesn't show all the people who said, no, I don't want to participate in that. I wish somebody would put out a 90-minute video. And I'm not saying because people can't do it. I'm saying I wish there was a 90-minute video so people could understand, there's a lot more to it than this 10 seconds.
Yeah, even now, doing what I'm doing, knowing what I know, I've glanced through certain parts of some of those books, and I'm like, I would not have figured this out. And also, more importantly, full disclosure, we had no plan about what we were going to talk about here, so we're kind of off on any tangent that has anything directly to do with the conference. But I think it's valuable. We spent the better part of the first day in your training talking about safety and ethics.
Yes.
And your training allowed me to develop this mentality where, while I am putting myself out there on stage, thinking about you and any other stage hypnotist who 2-3 months down the line might call that venue or that organization that I'm working at. Did my show make it easier or more difficult for Kevin to book a show there 3 months, 6 months, 2 years from now? Because there are people out there, and we've all seen those shows, or many of us have, that are like, that person made some choices that may not have been the choices that I would have made on stage.
The other thing I think is that the problem with books, and I love books, I love reading, but they're theory. Books are theory, and until you have reality and practice, the theory doesn't make sense. if you would have read all those books before the class, it would have been really confusing and there'd be a lot of contradiction.
Yeah.
But now that you've done a bunch of shows, you can read through the books and go, oh, well, okay, I understand what the author was trying to say and why. But here's why I agree with that idea or disagree with it.
Yeah.
And having that experience behind you is worth so much more.
Well, that and just being, learning it piece by piece, and then going up on your stage during your show, real people,
Yep.
real time. You've been doing this in Vegas for almost 14 years.
Yes.
So no training wheels, because no training wheels needed. But to see it happen, there was a part in what the handouts and everything that you gave us and the guide that whether what it was there for or not, but about the fact that people hypnotize themselves.
So,
and it was words on page until I saw it happen in such a way that those words jumped off the page for me.
And as soon as you do it, and when people say, all hypnosis is self-hypnosis, there's a truth and a fallacy to that.
Yeah.
The fallacy of it is they need the tour guide to get there. The truth of it is if somebody doesn't want to do it, they're just going to open up their eyes and walk off the stage and not listen to you.
Right.
So there is a huge aspect of cooperation and working together. Plus, I firmly believe that when it's about cooperation, we have fun. When it becomes about power, we take that fun away, and now we're introducing cruelty.
Yeah. And honestly, the newest version of my show is us going on a journey together. And the folks that I have up on stage are going on a completely different journey than each other. And you get to watch it happen. And there are legit parts in my current show, just like a brief routine in there that is just for the people that are up on stage. There is nothing. There are times, and don't get me wrong, this is hypnosis, and people will surprise you, but for the most part, it's at least not intended to be. It's kind of the break for the audience.
Yeah.
To kind of catch their breath on everything else that's going on, and it's a big time journey for the people that I have up on stage.
Actually, so I got into a really weird headspace not too long ago when it comes to volunteers. And the headspace I put myself in is your volunteers are on the hero's journey. Let's use the Lord of the Rings for a second. Ready? Okay. Gandalf comes to the Shire. The hypnotist walks up on stage. He talks to the hobbits, few are selected, volunteers. Takes them on a journey. Everybody watches the hero's journey, and they watch these heroes develop, and they walk off stage conquering heroes. And it was a weird thing that got in my head that way, but I realized there's such a truth to that.
Yeah.
That you're taking them on the hero's journey. Let them be looked at as heroes.
And it's really, it's super empowering and I don't want to say easy to do, but it's I think that was the element that really.
It's simple.
Yes.
Somebody once told me, here's the definition of simple and easy. It is simple to move 1,000 10-pound bricks from one side of the street to the other. It is not easy.
Right. I think that's incredibly accurate.
Mm-hmm.
So tell us about what you shared with everybody here at the conference. You did 2 presentations and were part of a panel discussion. Yep. So let's fill anybody in that missed it.
Just talking about where I see the future of stage hypnosis going. Then I did a presentation on where clinical and stage meet and how each side of the fence needs to take from the other. And then I just did one because the conference is here in my hometown of Detroit. So it was a lecture on how I went from Detroit to Las Vegas, the steps and the things I did that got me from A to Z and not quite that straight of a pattern.
No, quite a bit of a journey, which you detail in. When did you publish the book?
The book came out last year. So the show in Vegas is Hypnosis Unleashed. You can go to hypnosisunleashed.com for ticket details. The book is Deep Into My Eyes, and you can go to deepintomyeyes.com to order a copy of that.
Excellent. So
and the byline on that is from Victim to Vegas Headliner, because it talks about the abuse and the negativity I had to overcome and the community I had to build to get where I am.
So if you're watching this live, the Hypnosis Unleashed link is already in the notes. I will add the link to the book once this gets out there. So if you're looking for any of those things, it's a very moving read. It's not. It's a journey, and it's your journey, and it has. I don't want to say it has nothing to do with hypnosis, but it's not a book that you're buying because you're interested in hypnosis.
And it was funny. I came up with this idea when I first started writing the book is because I went through a bunch of abuse. There were a bunch of people that I could name as abusers. I made the decision that I would talk about bad situations, but I was never going to mention bad people because I didn't believe they needed the press. I talk in depth about the good people who helped me grow because I think it's way more important to put that energy to the people who help you grow than to try and call out people who didn't, people who
of course
tried to pull you down.
Wonderful, wonderful. So what's next? You're back to Vegas, back to the show.
So Comedy Castle here in Michigan on Tuesday. Yep. It's where it's where I really got part of my big start. I've been doing that for about 17 or 18 years now. And then first thing Wednesday morning, back to Vegas, and I'll be back on stage at the Four Queens Wednesday night.
Wonderful. So if you're here in Detroit or within driving distance of Detroit, that is Tuesday the 24th. Did I get that right?
Yep. In Royal Oak, Michigan.
In Royal Oak, Michigan. Mark Ridley's Comedy Castle, 7:30 p.m. Doors will be what? 7 or
doors I think are 6. Yeah, doors should be 7.
Doors should be 7. So definitely come out. It's a big room, right?
Yeah.
So there's probably tickets available.
Oh, what? You think I can't fill the place?
I didn't say that.
No. Hold on.
I know.
You just said it's a big venue, so there must still be tickets available. Is that what you're trying to say?
You would have.
I'm just
asking. You wouldn't have plugged it. I know from booking my own shows and other entertainers that everybody buys their tickets last minute.
Yes.
So get them now so that you beat the people trying to buy them last minute.
Yes,
because I think you pretty much sell the show out every time you do it.
I'm not Beyonce. I'm not Taylor Swift. Nobody's gonna, try and buy the entire room out in the first 10 minutes it's open. So
right. But you normally sell the room out when you're here, so they will go. So get them now. Don't expect to get them at the door. So, any last thoughts before we head out of here? We've got a dinner tonight.
Go enjoy the world of hypnosis. There's a lot of fun things to explore about it. I love it. It's still my passion. I get to live my dreams because I get to turn people into superstars every night.
Fantastic. And if you are out there and you're doing a show, keep that in mind because it's a fantastic mentality to take forward. It's what keeps Kevin in Vegas. It's what keeps me getting rebooked at my shows. I established that mentality where, look, I'm not just paving the way for myself, but somebody else who may come in here and do the show that you want to see. Yeah. It's super important. So thanks so much, Kevin.
Pleasure, brother. Anytime.
Always good to connect with you. We will see you on the next one, friends.
Thank you for tuning in to the Between Two Minds Behind the Scenes podcast. Be sure to follow us on social media under Between Two Minds with the number 2 instead of TWO or under Enter the Impossible. Thank you, and we hope to see you back for the next episode.